Hey buddy, welcome to Midnight Tech, Josh here, and today we're actually going to do an in-depth review of the new Xiaomi Mi Pad 5, which was launched globally. When I bought this, the China one is known as the Mi Pad. So very interesting device, and one that's very inspired by the iPad. But how does this stack up in real-life performance? So we've been using this for at least over 2 weeks, and just want to share what the experience is with this device. So first of all, let's look at the design characteristics. I have an iPad Pro 2020 here, and you can see physically they look almost identical at the corners, and you actually see that nice Dolby logo in terms of its Vision Atmos. So it's trying to give you the best, or I would say a bit more immersive viewing experience when it comes to watching videos and the like. So you can see the side bezels are very iPad-like. Thankfully, this does not it's not the same at the back. It's this matte kind of coating. It's more like the Pro models of the recent iPhone 12 and 11 at the back, and this is sporting the Xiaomi camera module that you find on the current Xiaomi phones as well. So again, the flat design, a lot of people appreciate that design, flat design now. It's very nice and very popular recently. In terms of design, the other thing is that let's talk about the screen. So the screen is what they call a WQHD plus display. It's got a 16:10 display aspect ratio. It's a very vibrant, color-rich display. It's great for media consumption, great for playing games. Security features itself, if you get the standard version, the non-pro version, you only have face unlock. So the issue with this face unlock is this is a flat face unlock. It's not the 3D sense, not the one depth sensing, so it's not a very secure way to lock your device. Unfortunately, there's no fingerprint sensor as well, so your best bet to having good security again is to actually use a passcode as opposed to a more modern authentication method of having a very good 3D depth sensing or using a fingerprint sensor. So coming back to the user interface, so this tries to mimic an iPad a bit, to my opinion, a bit too much. If you wanted to know the keyboard shortcuts, you normally do this in the iPad. You would hold down the command button, a list of commands will appear. Now it works the same way with the Mi Pad. As you can see, accessing the control panel, you will swipe on the right. Same way. The gesture indicator is also the same. And in terms of user interface, it also tries to mimic the control bar here. Now the only thing is that when you run programs in the iPad, you actually see a line here to separate between the active programs and the shortcuts here. Now this doesn't work like that for the Mi Pad. You only have the quick launch shortcuts here. The experience overall is okay. There are certain tricks that you could do on an iPad that you definitely can't do on the Mi Pad. So for example, let me demonstrate here. For example, if I were to move a group of icons, I can actually pull one icon and I actually can use my other finger. If you guys didn't know this, I can use my other finger to add a group of icons and move them all. Now, I can't do this on the Mi Pad. So in terms of UI, I would say the iPad has it's a lot more slicker. It's a lot more polished as compared to the Mi Pad. Certain apps have been optimized for a landscape. Not many. Some apps, China-based apps, actually have this capability. So I'll just show you one example here. Have Lazada over here. Right. So if I were to look at, see, it makes use of the landscape mode, and if you look at the settings here, you actually see that optimization. So you can see not many apps are optimized for landscape view. So UI itself, it's okay. It gives you that iPad experience. So I'll show you multitasking on this guy. So down to the multitasking and split screen modes, Play Store banner, you actually show me some icons, and this would be the floating menu. Now this doesn't apply to every app. You see, these are grayed out. Okay, so and this is a bit in a way better than an iPad experience, because in the iPad you can only push it at the right side of the interface, whereas this I can float it around. So I could be browsing and I can float the Play Store around. Now what I can do is that when I push it to the right, it will actually do the split screen. So this mimics the experience on the iPad. It's exactly, the split screen works like an iPad. The only thing, you can't do this with every app. Very iPad-like, giving down to the split screen mode, down to the way the user interface works. There's also something extra here, which I'm going to get, is the PC mode. So there'll be a link below how you can actually install the APK. Once that's there in your control panel here, you actually will see PC mode here. So this works with a Bluetooth mouse as well. So just like the iPad as well, you would actually see the cursor looks almost the same. So I pull down the control center, and let me get to PC mode. Now this is what the iPad will not have. And boom, I'm in PC mode now, and this actually mimics what looks like a Windows kind of desktop. Now the good thing with this mode is that apps that don't support the landscape mode, they would work. Like you've got Instagram, and you can see Instagram here. The only thing is that I can't really resize the window. So yeah, while I can float it around, I can't really resize it. Yep, so if I got, for example, Instagram running here, I can go and open YouTube as well, right? Which also runs in a window environment. Chrome browser here, I can blow it down to a full size, or in that same floating. Yeah, so you can have multiple windows. Not really great in terms of the window size options, but nevertheless, if you want that kind of effect, right? So you can see Xiaomi's browser is kind of optimized for this. It actually supports a nice landscape size window, and you can blow up to full screen as well. So you have your landscape oriented apps, portrait oriented apps, and certain apps that support full screen mode, all running in this PC like environment. Back to the cameras. So this is powered by 13 megapixel rear camera. So you can see some sample shots here. Pretty good in normal lighting conditions. And it's got a front camera for 8 megapixels, so you'd be fine running Zoom calls, Microsoft Teams and whatnot using this. So the only thing is that, again, the angle of the camera is here. So yeah, of course here would be a bit better for those kind of calls when you're in landscape mode. And you can see pretty good details for the 13 megapixel camera. So it's a serviceable camera and okay for shots. Talking about gaming on this guy, so gaming is really a blast on this tablet. The graphics are set to very high and max, right, with most of the effects turned on. And this is on an 860 Snapdragon processor. The Pro one would give you better performance at 870. Got a game turbo mode that you can record the on-screen action, as well as things like giving you indication of the frames per second. So you can see this running at a pretty high frame rate now. It's 60 frames per second. Playing games on this guy is really a blast. And with that Dolby Atmos sound, you're having many hours of gaming.
Changing mag. Reloading. Cover. Missile inbound.
Got the keyboard case. This can be a very productive animal. So, for example, running Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. So this is pretty great for any work. Handling productivity-based apps is great on this. So if it's work and playing some games, yeah, that's fine. But how does this stack up against like the iPad? So the iPad actually, I would say in terms of quality of software, so the quality of games and applications in general are more polished and better on the iPad, and a lot of it are also optimized for tablets. So if gaming is your thing, I think the iPad will give you a bit more as compared to the Mi Pad. And the other thing is that when you were to do content creation, especially like so all the videos edited on this channel is using this great program called LumaFusion, and it really has powerful editing capabilities, a one-time purchase, and you're able to do detailed editing and frame by frame accurate editing. Now apart from monthly subscribe kind of programs, those capabilities are a bit short on the Mi Pad. The competitor actually to the Mi Pad would be the entry-level iPad, and they just launched a new one which also supports all the modes, external keyboard and everything else, and that has a proper fingerprint sensor which does not exist on this guy, even though it has a more thicker bezel, which I don't think a lot of people will mind. So I would say that could be possibly a better option. Sticking the Android ecosystem, this would be a great companion to something like a Xiaomi phone. Here I have the Poco F3, and you can actually do things like what you normally do with the iPad. For example, Xiaomi also has its version of AirDrop, which is called Mi Share, and over here you can see same way I would tag some pictures here, and you can already see the Mi Pad here. So I will just send it over, and then it pops up. So I'm having two very excellent devices here, the Poco F3 on my left and the Xiaomi Mi Pad on my right, and both would serve my productivity needs, my gaming needs, my social needs as well, and it wouldn't cost me an arm and leg. Want to stay in the Android ecosystem and you want an iPad-like experience and a good tablet. So the most important thing is this: is this a good tablet? I give a thumbs up. It's really nice to use. Few things: this keyboard isn't backlit at all, and that facial recognition doesn't work in the dark like Apple does. It's got a 33-watt fast charging, so charging this guy is pretty quick. You get that iPad-like experience in user interface, in running programs, and the quality of gaming, the quality of media consumption is something that's really good on this guy, and it's going to just cost you just over 300 USD. It's about 1,500 ringgit when it retails in Malaysia. The iPad, I would say get the iPad if you want to do things like content creation, if you wanted better quality apps and better supported software. iPad will be your choice. But if you want just a good tablet and you want to stay in the Android system, which gives you a lot of customization capabilities, then this guy could be your choice. So I hope you like this review of the Xiaomi Mi Pad 5, or what is the global release, which is known as the Xiaomi Pad 5. And until the next one, this is D. George from Midnite Tech. See ya.